of course, as somebody who has this organization that supports mothers who are raising kids with Down syndrome, how would you prefer people call them? Will you say, these are no patients? Because your brother was asking you, Aisha, and you're like, no, this is a lifetime condition.
Yeah.
So that we do not call these kids patients and we look at them as, you know, just functional human beings who are capable of doing so much more to the society. How do you prefer we call them? People living with Down syndrome or?
Okay, for purposes of communication, yes. They are people first before the condition, as Daktari has said. I would prefer you just call my son Baraka, just it. But it's important for etiquette language that you're not saying who you need Down syndrome. You know, that's how people, ule wa Down syndrome. Yeah, it's a child living with Down syndrome or an adult living with a condition. That's the same way. It's not a disease, but we are people first before anything else. And for every other condition, even a disease, you don't say, huyu wa cancer, ama huyu wa, you know, there is that person, I am Joanne, whether I have a condition or not. So I would prefer as a community to just call them their names. Their names, yeah.
All right, let's get more feedback. We see what the people are saying this morning. Once again, we're talking about Down syndrome. And yes, if we can have it on full screen, kindly. Aisha from Mombasa says there's still stigma, especially in some communities. People think it's a curse, which is very wrong. That is Aisha. We have Otieno from Siaya says government should invest more in special education and therapy services. Not every family can afford private care. That is Otieno. We have Sharon from Nairobi says representation matters. When we see people with Down syndrome in media and jobs, it changes how society views them. We have Anne from Nairobi. She says children with Down syndrome are a blessing, but society still lacks awareness. We need more education so people stop treating them differently. Before, just to start from that particular point, how is education like accessing, you know, schools for this children with Down syndrome, Kezia? Getting a school for your child.
It's difficult. One, you get to a school, they will tell you it's an integrated system, but basically you just know. You get there and you ask, do we have a special needs teacher? And you're told no, but the regular teacher will handle. But we all know if that class has like 40 people, students or pupils, then it just means that that child will need extra care. So we are lacking that, and then there are those that will turn them away because probably they think it's too much to handle them. Then there's the cost, the cost of accessing this education. So it's not easy. It's not easy.
Talk to us about health, Joanne. The cost of treatment. Of course, you started by telling us, you know, sometimes it costs 500 to 2,000, and I wonder how many sessions or, you know, per day or maybe per week or per month that a parent should have to take your child for. Just walk us through that cost.
Okay, at birth, depending on the condition. If a child has a heart condition, for example, you will not start the therapy, the occupational therapy immediately. You will need to sort out the heart, because remember, you're also using a lot of energy. The heart uses a lot of energy. So you will deal with the heart first before you start the occupational therapy. But it is supposed to be immediate and on a daily basis. For them, the occupational therapy helps with the muscle, you know, building the muscle so that they are able to, you know, to strengthen the muscles. And everything about our body, I think that Tari will clarify, is about the muscle. So if these muscles are because of the hypotonia, are not strong, so you need the therapy. If you can afford daily basis, or at least a minimum of 3 times in a week. So even let's say in a public hospital to be going at 500, that's about 1,500 per week for a person who does not have an income. And you do it until your child attains the milestone. It's not just about walking. Are they able to eat? There is the speech. The speech is not just about the language. These muscles around your mouth, your tongue, and because of the way they are, their tongue tends to be longer. So even attaining the language becomes difficult. So it is something you have to do as you know, as often as possible to achieve milestones faster. So it's quite expensive, and most of our moms are not able to afford, and that's how we come in. We do our fundraisers, like what we'll be doing on Saturday during the World Down Syndrome Day, to raise funds to really support. We'd want to support all the mothers that are not able to afford. What we do is just pay the national insurance, like now the Social Health Authority. We bring these few women. Sometimes we get a donor pay for more. Sometimes we just from these fundraisers, we are able to pay for a few. I think now we are paying for only about 10. We've paid for 20, for 30, depending on the funding. At least then these moms can go to the public hospitals, do the therapies, do the heart surgeries, and any surgery, because it's covered partly by that cover. So that is one of the things we source funds for, to sponsor our parents for at least a medical, that national medical cover. Because the first thing we tell you once you join, ensure that you have the national register for the national health cover, so that when you need to do the surgeries or the therapies, there's some reprieve here.
Dr. Maybe if you could just debunk for us some of the myths that you see go around with regard to Down syndrome. There's one that I saw somewhere, that the quality of spermatozoa could lead to maybe a mother giving birth to a child with Down syndrome. Is that true? And just walk us through some of the myths that you'd love to debunk.
Well, I hope that when I explained that in one instance there's a glitch that happens that results in one extra chromosome being passed on either from the father or from the mother, and that's really the main issue. It's not something that you can look forward to replicating. It's not something that can change, you can do anything about. So that's consider that a myth. Is basically a glitch that happens very randomly and can happen to anybody at whatever level. Second thing people think is that people with Down syndrome, culturally, a lot of the things have been described here, what the causes are, that it can be transmitted. No, it cannot be transmitted. That this is something that the mother has done, the father has done. Those are all not realistic expectations. There is this perception that children with Down syndrome cannot live a fulfilled life, cannot live long. I was very surprised by that comment, ma'am, because this is 2026. I don't know what kind of doctor doesn't know what the expectations are. Of course, there would be concerns about the kinds of cardiac conditions you may get, but you have to have a diagnosis to say this is the situation. So those kinds of misconceptions do exist. The fact that people think they cannot learn, they cannot, those are not accurate considerations at all.